Okay guys, welcome back to Beardy Lumber. You can see Matthew's got a big stack of oak pulling in here. It's a lot of hard work getting ready to go in this kiln. We've got a lot to talk about, so hang on, we'll be right back. Okay guys, Matthew and I appreciate you tuning in today. March 7th for us. And I give you that date because this video is going to be a long one. We got 4, 8, 9. We got 9 bundles of red oak and white oak going in the kiln. And it's going to run, we hope 35 days, could be 45 because it was just cut. Some of it was just cut yesterday, so it's green. But we got 3 different customers. One customer we got all red oak. It's still sitting over there to come in. It's going to be all 3/4 inch by 6 inch red oak floor. Mostly number 1s, few number 2s. It's going to be a beautiful stuff. And then we've got 3 bundles of white oak for hardwood flooring for another customer. It'll be kind of 1s, 2s, and 3s mix on it. 4-inch boards, 6-inch boards when we get done. This little short stack is red oak that goes to that customer. And then the bottom. This 10-foot stack is what we sawed yesterday. It's 1.5 inch and 1-inch boards. He wanted a couple pieces for headboards, wanted some 1.5 inch stuff planed down to 1.25 inch, and the rest of it will run 3/4 inch S4S. So, needless to say, when all this comes out, we got a lot of molder planing to do. But this video is for the sole purpose of running green red oak. A lot of guys out there refuse to run hardwoods unless they've air dried it for 6 months. I ain't got time for that crap, people. My customers ain't got time to wait 8-9 months. It's just unrealistic around here, okay? If you've got a business, you can tell somebody they're gonna wait 6 months to air dry it. Good for you. We got to get this turned and burned, turn our hard work into cash, keep the wheels rolling. So, like I say, this was cut all last week, basically, wasn't it? Yeah, all this was cut last week. The last stack there was sawed yesterday. So I know we're going to be going in the 50-55% range at 1.5% a day. You know, you're looking at 40 days. That's just the way of the world. But that's why we bought this kiln. That's why we built the kiln, to put it to work. My intention for this video is after we get this loaded, I'll show you how we got it set up, where we start, and then I want to do like a weekly update. Ain't no sense doing a daily update. It'd be way too many. But once a week, probably take 5-6 weeks, hopefully less, but we'll see. We'll do a weekly update, and I'll try to show you where we were at last week, where we're at this week, go through the whole process. I see a lot of people asking questions on WoodMizer Facebook page, and guys, I'd love to answer your questions, but you ask a question that needs 30 minutes to answer, and I can't do that texting. I just absolutely don't have time. We have plenty of good videos out there as resources. You're welcome to go back to our playlist and watch them. We've done this several times in the past where we've run a kiln cycle. And that being said, every kiln out there is different. Every kiln's going to operate different. Your heat and cycles is going to be different. Just there's so many variables. Your kiln won't operate exactly like mine does. Mine won't operate like the next guy's down the road. But the principles are still the same. We're heating it up, we're drying it down, and we're maintaining a consistent, with this oak, we're maintaining a consistent 1.5% per day maximum. We don't want to come in one day and have a 5% moisture drop. We got a problem. That's why we check the kiln twice a day to see that we're maintaining that 1.5% drop. Now you can come in the morning and check it, and it's already dropped 1.5%, and it'll turn that compressor off, and it won't cycle the compressor back on for 15, 20 hours, because it's trying to maintain that graph that you set in it, so it's get a steady curve all the way down, or slope. Anything we missing here, Matthew?
Take time.
I wish our kiln was bigger. we can put more board footage in it. I hadn't figured out the square footage yet. Board footage, I'll give it to you when I get the rest of them over here. But we're still not even a max load for hardwoods. This KD250, they recommend 5,000 board feet of hardwood. They also recommend 1,500 board feet of pine, and we do 3,000 consistently, a lot. So I know if I had the box for 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 board feet of oak, I could dry it. We just don't have the box big enough. If we ever do another one, we've learned some things that will be different in the next one. So that's going to do it. We got to get these stacked in here, get our probes put in, get some notes taken, and we'll probably do a little time lapse while we're loading them, but then we'll come back and talk when we get the KD250 turned on, and we'll set all the parameters. So hang on, we'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. Quick update. Matthew and I have been wanting to do a live stream. Had a few of you ask about it. We hadn't done it, been super busy, procrastinating. But come May the 17th, we're jumping on a podcast live stream with Two Brothers Outdoor, Davidson All Natural Gym, the Kilted Sawyer, as well as TC Sawmills. It'll be several boards, big group. We're going to do a couple-hour roundtable, talk about sawmilling subjects in general. And we'll have a link on our YouTube channel by then, as well as you can go in through one of these others if you want to. But we'd love for you to join us. Be a time to interact. You can ask some questions of Matthew and I, as well as the other sawyers, and we'd love to see you there. So talk to you soon. Okay guys, we got our kiln loaded, got the WoodMizer KD250 turned on, got my calibration set, got all my spreadsheet information wrote down. So now let's go over what we did. First thing you're gonna do is go into your configuration mode. You'll make sure all your probes are on. We're using all 4 of them, so all 4 of them's on. You'll set your dry bulb temperature. I'm using group 3 alternative schedule. I'm gonna start at 100 degrees dry bulb, 95 degrees wet bulb. What that means is it won't draw water until it's above 100 degrees and it's at least 95% or 95 degrees wet bulb. And until that point, it's just circulating air. Let me go back into it. Dry bulb, wet bulb. Final moisture was set at 6%. Wood group, this is wood group 3 for oak hardwoods. And that's it. Now, the other information on this screen is probe 1 says it's 54% moisture, 57 for 2, 64 for 3, 69 for 4 for an average moisture content of 60.7. These two will probably come down pretty quick once they balance with the others, but it's going to be a long, slow process. Now, we've got our compressor turned on, our heat pump turned on. We're not worried about the over-temp vent because it's still cold weather and we don't have extra humidification, so that don't matter. As far as the load, let me add it up real quick. 2485, 1358, and 535. It's 10, 18, carry 1, 9, 14, 10, 13. Okay, we ended up with 4,378 board feet. So we're still 600 board feet under what they say is maximum. I got no doubt we could do 7,000 to 8,000 board feet, but we just don't have the room in the box for it. I don't know that it would even take any longer if we did 6,000, 7,000 board feet, because it pulls percentage of moisture. It don't care how much water. If you got 4,000 board feet and you get 7 gallons of water and it dropped your 1.5%, it stops. If you got 8,000 board feet and it got 16 gallons of water and it dropped a 1.5%, it would still stop. So theoretically, a big load of oak really shouldn't matter, because when this thing's drawing water, it may only draw a couple hours a day to pull that 1.5% out, and then it's just gonna sit here and cycle air for 24 hours and then it'll do it again. So anything else here, Matthew? Let's go outside where we don't have this hum running. I'm gonna turn all our fans on now. These make a lot of heat just running, and they'll help the box heat up. Got everything here we need, so let's go out here where it's a little quieter. Okay guys, we're out here. You can still hear the humming in the background. I'm gonna listen to that for another 35, 45 days till we can cycle it. Intention for this video is to come back. Today is Friday for us, so next Friday we'll try to make a point to film a 2, 3, 4 minute update of where we were today versus where we are in a week, and see if the machine is doing what it's supposed to, taking the glide path down to 6% and everything's functioning. So be just a quick second for you, but it's gonna be 7 days for us, so we'll be right back. Okay guys, we're back. We're gonna have our first 1 week update on our huge kiln run of oak. Yeah, it was kind of impressive. We put it in last Friday. Why don't you write this down? Turned it on 11:30. It's Friday a week later, 8:30 in the morning. So almost, about 6 hours short of 12 days or 7 days. Water, man, it's when you put it in green, there's a lot of water kind of come out. We've got 125 gallons of water so far. We started at a 60.0 moisture content. We're down to 49.5, so We pulled out 10% of moisture this week. That's right in line with 1.5% per day. Running great. Only issue I had is we put it in Friday at lunchtime, and it really didn't get up to temperature till Sunday morning. I think I got a heating element that's probably going bad. It uses electric heating element to heat it up. Checked the continuity on it. Continuity is good. Checked the temperature probe on it. It was high, but unsure as to how high it should be. It just seemed like it took forever to warm it up. Now the box did set cold for 4 days. The wood was cold, and there's a lot of it. There's almost 4,400 board feet, if I'm not mistaken, what we wrote down. Yeah, right at 4,400 board feet of oak. Now once it come up temperature, it's held temperature just fine. Actually had to turn the power vents on. It was getting a little over temperature. Had to turn the power vent on yesterday to let it bleed a little heat off. But probably gonna go ahead and replace the heating element, because that's what's utilized in the initial heat up and sterilization. Now right now, it don't use any heat. The fans, I got 5 fans, 5 of the 6 fans running. Between the fans and the compressor, the compressor's running. When the compressor runs, it runs the air conditioning and the heat at the same time. That's what it does. And both units are inside the box. So the cold unit, air crosses it and it condenses the water, and then it goes through the heating coil and out the top. So when you're condensing water, you're making heat. So it has no problem staying up temperature when the units are running. It's only when you initially heat it up or sterilize. So I'm gonna order one of them. Maybe we'll cover getting that put in. Maybe call Nile. Nile's a good resource for this kind of stuff. It's what they do. They build kilns. The WoodMizer Kiln is actually built by Nile. So I think that's going to do it for week 1 update. A lot of water, 125 gallons of water. Ever since I got it up to temperature, it's been hitting, right at 30 gallons of water a day. That's maximum this unit can evacuate. As soon as it comes down, probably by the end of next week, the water content will be a lot less that it's drawing out. So, try to call. We'll catch you next week. Thank you, guys. Okay, guys, welcome back. It's been another week, actually a week and a day. I forgot to do this yesterday, but I still went back to the Friday numbers. So let me give you a quick update. This is the end of week 2. Get back here. The end of week 1, we got 125 gallons of water, and we dropped 10.5 points from 60 to 50. Okay. This week, we got 170 gallons of water, and we went from a 49.4 moisture content to a 40.1, which is a drop of 9.3 points of moisture. And that's a little under where I'd rather be for 7 days. I'd like to be about 10 or 11, but that's close. About 1.5% a day. So 7 days, that's 10.5. You really don't need to be more than 10.5 or 11. You'll be stressing your wood. The water was astronomical, and that's partly because we have so much in the kiln. The amount of water you get out depends on the moisture in the wood and the amount of wood. If we had half as much wood in there, we'd get half as much water, but we wouldn't drop any quicker in moisture content because the computer is limiting how much it's drawing out. Right now it's drawing out all it can, and it's still barely getting close to the 1.5% a day drop. And some days it don't get it, but it's still drawing pretty close to the maximum. 7 days, 30 gallons a day, 210 is the maximum, and we got up to 170 something gallons. So it's working pretty hard getting water. It's only been 2 weeks. It seems like it's been longer, but we put it on the 7th, and today's Friday was the 21st, so it's been 2 weeks. Everything looks good. Moistures are coming down, right on scale. I don't stress over doing any kind of pine, poplar, stuff like that, but I do on oak because you got to be careful. If this thing starts accelerating or the temperature gets too high too quickly, you can do damage. But it's warmed up, so I've actually got my power vent on. If it gets over temperature, you know, it'll blow out a little hot air, suck in a little cool air from this end and keep the temperature down. You don't want this stuff to spike. Now once you get it dry, and we'll spike it to sterilize it, that's different, but because the moisture's already been drawn out of it. But right now you just want it to slowly come through. We're running all our fans, keeping a monstrous amount of air circulation. The floor was super wet the first week and a half, and now that it's picking up so much moisture, it's finally, the floor's starting to dry out a little bit. But that's one improvement I would have made and will make if I ever do another kiln. I'd have a concrete stem wall 2 or 3 inches tall, kind of like a bathtub or a shower, a walk-in shower, all the way around, so that the water's not trying to protrude through the edge of the wall. And you know, live and learn. Nobody told me, didn't know. I'm telling you. You ever build a kiln, build you some kind of little stem wall with concrete around it, and because you're gonna get some water on the floor, it's just a matter of learning how to control it. So that's gonna be our week 2 Friday update. Be just a minute. We'll be back for week 3. Thanks, guys. Okay, guys, welcome back. It's been a week for me. It's been just a split second for you. This is our Friday update, number 3 on our kiln run. And in week 3, the water started to slow down, which is expected. We got 88 gallons of water, and really most of that happened because on Wednesday it got down to 35%. So I bumped the temperature up 5 degrees, and it really jumped. It went from getting 5-6 gallons of water to 22 one day, 12 the next, and it got 10 overnight. So you got to bear that in mind, but the water is very important. So this week we got 88 gallons of water, and we down to 34%, which was a 5.5% moisture change from last, technically Saturday morning, because we forgot to do it on Friday. Week 2 was 170 gallons of water with 40.5 moisture content, which was 9% lower than the week before. Week 1 was 125 gallons, and we had dropped 9.3 points in moisture. So all that just to kind of let you know where we're going. That's why I keep up with spreadsheet. I like to know how the water's flowing. I keep track of each probe. You know, yesterday it was at 35%, today it's at 34%, so I can see if they're all moving, you know, because if sometimes one will stop, and it may not be the wood, it just may be, well, it is the wood, but it'd be the probe. Sometimes you can move that probe to another piece of wood, because if you inadvertently put a probe near a knot, it's not going to read correctly. It needs to be in straight grain, you know, unobstructed wood. Because it's just reading resistance across that 1.25 inches. If there's anything in there that's causing a conflict, you'll get an erroneous reading. Sometimes if I get one that's staying high, I may just turn that one off. It'll still tell me the moisture content, but it's not totaling it in the average. It's like I turned off number 4 when we first started because it was erroneously high. Well, I'm about ready to turn it back on because it's within 1 point of being balanced with the rest of them. That, for whatever reason, just something you learn, something you try. Anything here, Matthew, on this one? Just bear in mind, guys, I get a lot of people that want one of these. I get a lot of messages, you know, about how to run a kiln. A kiln's not for everybody. It's a 7-day-a-week job, twice a day. Sometimes running hardwoods, you can let it slip to once a day because the water content's not that high. But when you're running pine, twice a day, every 12 hours, you need to be out here. And if that's not something you want to commit to, then definitely don't buy a kiln, because there are a lot of, it's low maintenance in the fact that it runs on its own, but it's high maintenance in the fact I have to put eyeballs on it twice a day and make sure it's doing what it's supposed to. Especially with a load of wood like we got in it, high value oak. You know, I hadn't been in the kiln this morning, but I have been in it at least twice this past week just to inspect the wood to see if I'm seeing any cracks, checks, splits, anything happening. and I'm not. It's perfect. It's going down at a slow rate, just like it's supposed to. Anywhere from a point to a point and a half a day is acceptable. If you start to see 2 or 3 point drops, you got a problem. The computer shouldn't allow it, as it will dry down to what it wants, and then it'll just sit there and idle, and then it'll start drying down again. Because this morning when I dumped the water, the compressor was not running. It had from yesterday to today, or last night to this morning, it had dropped 7 points. So that's half of it, for sitting half, and it was done. It's just sitting there idling, and when the computer deems it acceptable, it'll start drawing that moisture down again. So that's it for today's update, guys. We'll be back in a week. Hopefully, we've got at least 3 weeks left, at least. We're in no hurry with this. We're producing a quality product, and we don't want to push it. If you push this oak, you'll ruin it. So just let it do its thing. We got plenty of solid to do. Let's get at it. See you. Hey guys, welcome back. Been a quick second view. It's been a week for Matthew and I. We're back to do our week 4 update on our WoodMizer KD250 kiln. There's a lot of numbers here, so let's just go through them. We ended up last Friday at 34% moisture, and this Friday, whew, can't talk. This Friday we're at 26.9. That's a 7.1 drop in percentage of moisture. It could be a little higher. I'd have been happier with 9, 10, but it's doing what it's supposed to. It's going down very slowly. Temperature stayed stable all week, 109, 110 degrees. The water really leveled out, and that's why I check the water. When you change temperatures, moisture on your kiln, sometimes you'll spike it, make it do certain things, and you want to. But what we're doing here, I'm looking for consistency. Let's see. We had 13 gallons, 6 gallons, 7 gallons, 9 gallons, 10 gallons, 10 gallons, 7 gallons, 6 gallons, 6 gallons. And most of those were 24-hour cycles. Now, I usually check it twice a day, but when the water content starts coming, the water quantity coming out drops off, I take a break too. It's nice to not have to roll down here at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night and check it, but that's very consistent on the water. Every day it's 6, 7 gallons, 8 gallons, and that's what you want. The machine, the compressor's not running 24 hours a day. It's only running long enough to drop the moisture down that percent and a half a day that the computer's looking for. And once it does that, it cuts the compressor off, and it just sits there in cycles. If it gets cool, it'll warm up. If it gets hot, it'll open a power vent and let a little heat out. So it's doing exactly what it's supposed to. Now, water. Water's impressive. This week, like I say, we got 74 gallons for a 4-week total of water so far. We have extracted 457 gallons of water. That's a lot. And in 4 weeks, I'm gonna go back to the first page. We went from 60% average moisture to 26. So that's why I don't like running hardwoods every week. It just takes time. Now I did go in the box and look at it. All I could see, and most of what you can see is, down the side of the log or the end grains, and I'm more concerned with the end grains. Very little defect. Every defect I seen was probably caused just by the wood itself, just a random board that had a crack on the end of it, and that can't be helped, tension in the wood. Now, when you walk in there, if you walk in there and every board's cracked on the end, you're doing something wrong. Probably running it too hot, too fast, pulling out too much moisture. On this hardwood, hardwood and pine is exactly the opposite. Pine, you want to hit it hard as you can hit it, kick it in the butt, make that water run. Oak, you just want to ease into it, let it do its thing. But if you try to kick it real hard, you'll cause some damage, you'll cause some defects. I mean, I could kick this thing and make it put out 30 gallons of water a day, but we ain't gonna pull out no good wood. So bear that in mind. That's why you got to charge more for hardwoods. I charge double for hardwoods, and it ought to be more than that, just because of the time factor. It's been 4 weeks. I could have run 3 loads of pine. Now, they wouldn't have been as big as this load. Just double check here. This is tapped out about 4,400 board feet. Pine, I'd have probably been about 3,200 feet, but I could have run every bit of 3 loads of pine in the same time I've run this oak. And we've got about 20% moisture to get out of it. So, you know, we're still looking at 2 weeks. That's if it picks up a little bit, gets to that 1.5 per day. If it stays at 1% a day, you know, we're looking at 20 days. I mean, it takes what it takes. I'm not going to rush it. You got to be patient. As long as it's, you know, cycling water and dropping that percent and a half a day, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Now, every now and then, some reason, some batch of oak, it'll hit a flat spot and it'll set 3 days. Won't move. Won't get no water out of it, won't move. Now, in that case, I have and will in the future again spike it maybe 5 degrees to just kind of nudge the wood and get it started, and then it'll just run right to the end. For whatever reason, I've heard guys telling that, and I'm telling you, I've seen that. So that's going to do it for a week 4 update, guys. There ain't a whole lot to it other than just watch it run. So hang on, we'll be right back. We'll talk about week 5 then. See you. Hey guys, welcome back. Been just a flash view, but it's been another 7 days for us. We're back with our week 5 update on our huge oak run in our WoodMizer KD250 kiln. We'll go over some numbers. And in week 5, we got out 107 gallons of water, and we drew it down from 26.9% moisture content to 16% moisture content, which is a difference of 10.9. So, oh, my phone's ringing. That's pretty good. That's right at where it should be, 1.5% a day. So that's perfect. No issues with that. Our total gallons, well, you can see it here. You can freeze it to add it up, but that's 1, 2, 3, 380. What was that? 460. North of 560 gallons of water so far. It's a lot of water. That's a lot of wood. We went in 35 days it's been in there, and we went from 60% moisture to 16. That's about right on schedule, what I expected. It should be about 7 days, 6-7 days. It should be right where we want to be as far as our moisture, and then we'll sterilize, and this run will be done. It just takes time. You got to be patient. I consider it like a break, because normally when I'm running pine, I got to be every 12 hours. I got to check the water. It'll be running out on the ground. When you run hardwoods, it's running 24 hours a day, but it don't normally get more than 15-20 gallons in a day. Sometimes more right after you spike the temperature. But like yesterday, I checked it at 8:30 in the morning. Checked it at 8:30 this morning, and it had 11 gallons of water. I didn't have to walk down here at 8, 9 o'clock at night and check it. So it's kind of like a little mini vacation. Bear that in mind. You be able to buy one of these kilns. Guys are a twice a day, 7-day-a-week job from now on while you're running it, because you need to put eyeballs on it, see what's happening. Oak is you get a little break because it's happening real slow. Where pine, it's happening fast, and you need to know every 12 hours where you're at now, and where you're headed to keep up with it. So just bear that in mind. If you like to go for 3 days and go fishing every month or every 2 weeks, do not buy a kiln, because somebody's going to be looking at it a couple times a day the whole time it's running. So that's going to do it for week 5. I hope next Friday we're either done or talking about being done and going straight into sterilizing. So give me just a minute and we'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. It's a quick flash view, but it's been a full 7 days for Matthew and I. We're back for our week 6 update. This is one we've been looking for. It's actually done now. I turned it into sterilizing, but over the last 7 days, we only collected 50 gallons of water. That's half of what we got the week before. We started at 10.9 on our moisture content, and we ended up right around 7.1. And I quit at 7 because I had a couple probes that were going under 6. I didn't want to go, you know, they dropped to 5. I'm like, we'll have to quit right here, and had a couple that's kind of hanging out in the 8 or 9. Now, if you guys have never run a kiln, all your probes don't come down equally. All things being equal, different pieces of wood have different resistance. So don't dry, when you're trying to dry down that deep, you just can't keep going lower and lower and lower. You're gonna ruin your wood. At some point you gotta say, okay, that's gonna stop. And during the sterilizing, what's gonna happen now, I'm not pulling out any moisture. It's sitting there and just cycling. Right now it's currently 128 degrees. It's just cycling 128 degree air. And what that's gonna do is your drier boards are gonna get wetter and your wetter boards are gonna get drier. And that whole kiln load should balance out in the next 24, 36 hours because it has no choice. I'm not sucking any water out of it. It's just a constant loop going around and around. And always remember, when you go in to sterilize, you're gonna lose a little bit of moisture. Because our box is not, you know, completely tight. There's cracks here and there where a little moisture can get out. So if you're starting at 7, it wouldn't surprise me if you ended at 6 and you lost the % of moisture in the sterilizing process. So leave yourself a little room for that. It's just trial and error. Learn what your kiln does, because mine won't operate and act the way yours does. Like I said, we got 50 gallons of water. We only dropped about 3.5 points in moisture over a whole week because we had, well, let me just go back. Yeah, week 1, 125 gallons of water. Week 2, 170. Week 3, 88. Week 4, 74. Week 5, 107. And week 6, 50 gallons. So you can kind of see the water. And then right at the end, it's tapering off. There's not much left to get out. We don't want any more out. We're done. We're down to where we want to be. Whatever moisture is left in that wood, we want it left in it. Now, that being said, this total kiln load was 48, almost 5,000 board feet. Out of 5,000 board feet, I collected 614 gallons of water. Plus, we had a little leak out here and there. So, somewhere around 614 gallons plus. We started it on March the 7th, and it ended today, April the 18th. That's a solid 6 weeks of running. And today's Friday. Getting it up to temperature this Friday morning, probably Saturday night, you know, once we get up to the 150 range and hold it for a few hours, I'll probably turn it off and let it slow cool, and we'll look at sometime Monday once the ambient temperature comes down to kind of normalize, then we'll pull it out. I don't mind yanking pine out hot. It don't seem to have any bad effects. I'm definitely not pulling out this much oak until the temperature normalizes, because it could then do some cracking. One good thing about our kiln is we're able to walk in, and I don't walk in every day, but once, twice a week, I walk in with my flashlight and I can check the ends of both stacks and see if you're gonna get cracks, okay? Don't think you're gonna dry wood, not get any end checking. But you know, how much are you getting? And this load has been excellent. The end checking is minimal, maybe 5-10% of all the boards have got a little end check in it. And some of them, you just can't help it. It's the way the wood grew, it had stress, the way you cut it, you know, the orientation that you cut it induced a little stress. But overall, I'm tickled with it. It looks good. Less end checking is better, always. especially since we're going to turn this into hardwood flooring, because every bit of check you get on the end is boards you got to cut off and throw away, and we don't want to do that. So I counted up, it was 41 days to sterilize from start to today. We're sterilizing, and that's about what I expected, putting it in at a high moisture content at 60%. That's about what you're going to run 40 days. You do 1% to 1.5% a day to get down to 6-7%. That's where the math works out. Yes, it would have been nice if we could run it in 25 days, but we didn't have time to let it sit over here for 6 months, because these customers are waiting on this product to go in their houses, and we're waiting on it to come out and get run and sell it to them. So it's a time crunch. I won't argue with you that it's not better to air dry it, but sometimes it's just not practical. So anything I'm missing there, Matthew? That's our kiln run from start to finish. We'll come back and do one probably Monday when we open the doors, and it'll be cool then, and I can take you around and show you the end of the stacks and see how well it dried. I'm quite pleased with it, so if I'm happy, we're doing pretty good. That's gonna do it, guys. We'll be back in just a few for the last update on this run. Okay, guys, welcome back. It's Monday, April 21st for us. This is the last day, the last update on this load of oak. We're gonna open the doors, get all the baffling out of the way, and we'll come back and walk you around and show you what the wood looks like dry the same time we see it. Now, I have went in the back and kept a check on it during the drying process, but I can't see anything along the front, and I did go around this corner one time and check, but I had to move some baffling out of the way to get around there. So it'll be a first time for you as well as me. So give us just a minute, we'll get this opened up, and we'll take a look at it. Okay, guys, we got the kiln opened up. Matthew got all the baffling out of the way while I was working on something else. I'm gonna take you in here, show you a few things of how it dried, and we're gonna wrap this up. So, I grab the camera. If you look at the end grain, or the side grain here, these boards are nice and flat. Now, Matthew's already crawled up here and retensioned them. They started out this tight, and this is how loose they've gotten. That's how much shrinkage has occurred. He tightened them up so we can move them without any issue. Now, what I want to show you is the end grain. Look at this, beautiful end grain. Little to no defects. Here's a defect, that was in the wood. That was in the wood, it wasn't in the drying. This one's bowed a little bit, if you can see that. That's why we cut them oversized. Down here, little defect here. Overall, that's the first stack, 2 stacks is red oak. This is white oak. You can see defects here, that was in the wood. Can't be helped. Same thing here, it's in the wood. But overall, I am quite happy with that. I'm happiest that the boards are not wavy. Don't beat yourself up, guys, when you're drying stuff. You didn't grow this stuff. The best you can do is use best practices and see what happens. Same thing on this end. A little defect here, but that was in the wood. You can see here where it's drawn up a little bit. That's a knot. Now, when you take a perfect board, you should be able to dry it perfect. See this here? That's a little defect in the wood, but this is why we cut it oversized. We'll run this stuff twice to pick the best side to accommodate. Same thing here, we switched back to white oak. This whole stack is basically just gonna be S4S boards. Now this one is all gonna be hardwood flooring. I'm happy with that. And this is the last of the red oak. You can see here, got a little defect, grain pulled. And that's why we cut it a little extra thick. We'll get that out of it. Same thing here, this board pulled this way a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. And that's the orientation of the grain. There's only so much you can do. And then back here in the corner, last minute, actually after we got the kiln started a day or two, had a customer bring some pecan. We hand stacked all that in there and banded it. That wasn't no fun. Okay. So let me put this back on the stand. Guys, I don't know how long this video is going to be. It's been at least 7 or 8 clips. We do this for your benefit. It's not helping me go any faster by any means, but we're doing this to try to help you dry lumber. Don't beat yourself up. If you dry a bad piece of lumber, it's going to dry badly. If you dry a beautiful piece of lumber, got a good straight grain, no defects, it should dry good, but occasionally it won't. Use best practices. I told you from the beginning this is going to take 40-45 days. That's what it took. We let the WoodMizer Kiln do its job, trying to maintain a percent to 1.5% a day. Didn't rush it. I only bumped the temperature one time. It went a few days without getting enough water, and I spiked it about 5 degrees. Started pulling the water out, and I didn't touch it again. So I say all this to tell you what Matthew and I do. That's our best practices. Now, if yours vary from that, keep on getting it. I'm not telling you something somebody told me. I'm not telling you something I read. I'm telling you what I do. This is a valuable load of lumber. Matthew and I spend a lot of time cutting it, a lot of time stacking it, a lot of time preparing it to go in, and this is real world. This is not somebody's idea of what you should do. And we took this from 60% to 6% in 45 days and did it correctly, and the product speaks for itself. So I'm not going to argue with you about air drying. You do what's best for you. This is what we did, and this is the results we got. And I'm ecstatic. How about you, Matthew? I mean, the failure rate on this is minimum, and what failure rate we had was caused by a defect in the board. Either with the grain was just in such a position that it wanted to curl, or it had a knot and it humped over the knot. And we took all that into consideration to cut it a little thick, to run it twice on our molder, because we're only looking for a 3/4 inch board with a top face. Don't care what the bottom does, because we're going to run a notch blade through the bottom for hardwood flooring anyway. So we're looking for one good face, good 3/4 inch thick board, and we'll be happy. The customer would be thrilled. Okay, guys, there's a lot here. If you got any questions, drop them in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them. Like I say, this is just not a how-to. This is how we do it and how it works for us. I hope it's helpful. Always a big shout out to Matthew and Solomon doing our videos. I couldn't do it without them. I greatly appreciate it, all the effort they put into them. Don't forget about Solomon's channel, Third Beard Fishing. Also our website, beardedlumbernc.com, if you're interested in hat swag. Also, we've been wanting to do a live stream for a long time. We've put it off, and we've been invited to be on a podcast with Two Brothers Outdoors, as well as Davidson's, what was it, Matthew?
Natural Gym.
Davidson's Natural Gym. It's just a big round table, a bunch of saw guys from New York, Indiana, Tennessee, us from Western North Carolina, Craig Kilter from Utah, TC from Mississippi. There'll be a whole group of us. We'll be talking about sawmill related things. That will be on May the 17th at 8 o'clock at night. You can enter the portal through our YouTube channel. We'll have a link available for it, or you can just click on it live. We hope to see you there. If you got any questions, jump in, and you can ask them of me, Matthew, or the other guys on the forum, and we'll be glad to answer them. That's going to do it, guys. As always, we appreciate you watching. Couldn't do it without you. That's why we do it. We're here to try to help. Whew, that's a mouthful. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back at the mill.
Thank you for watching. Here's a video selection and a playlist suggestion. Click here to subscribe for more great content. We'll see you at the mill.